I am sitting in my car right now holding a grocery receipt that feels like it's 3 feet long. I went to the supermarket completely starving, and honestly, the sheer panic of staring down the snack aisle with a strict, tiny budget almost broke my spirit today. I technically hit my $50 debt payoff goal this week, but sitting here looking at these grocery bags, I feel weirdly guilty. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here is exactly what happened. So it's Thursday evening. I had my little meal plan, I had my meticulously written grocery list, and I had exactly $75 allocated for food this week. I was feeling so proud and dialed in, but I made the ultimate rookie mistake. I skipped lunch at work. By the time I grabbed a shopping cart with that one violently wobbly front wheel, my stomach was screaming, and every single end cap display looked like a 5-star meal. I was walking past the bakery section, and I could physically feel my willpower evaporating. It wasn't just about the food. It was this intense, overwhelming clash between the life I want, being debt-free and in control, and the immediate screaming desire for a $6 bag of name-brand salt and vinegar chips. It sounds so silly saying it out loud, but in that moment, the anxiety was completely real. I started rationalizing everything. I thought, I've been so good. My debt is down $50 this week. I deserve an $8 tub of pre-cut watermelon and some premium cookies. It is exhausting trying to be perfect with money all the time. The guilt hits you before you even put the item in the cart. Have you ever stood in aisle 4 completely paralyzed by the guilt of wanting to buy a simple snack when you know you have a massive mountain of debt to pay off? Please let me know in the comments if I'm not the only one who does this, because right now I feel a little crazy. I managed to survive the trip, but it was a messy, near disaster that really shook my confidence in my own systems. I realized that my 1% better mindset completely flies out the window the second basic biology takes over. It's hard to care about spreadsheets when your blood sugar's crashing. I literally had to grip the handle of the shopping cart and take deep breaths just to walk past the frozen pizzas. I didn't want to document this part. I wanted to just turn on the camera and celebrate my $50 win. But that would be faking it. So let me actually pull out this crinkled receipt and look at the numbers, because the math is the only thing keeping me grounded right now. My total debt at the start of this week was sitting at exactly $14,350. And my goal, my one non-negotiable mission for the week, was to drop that by $50. Just $50. It sounds so small when you look at a mountain of 14 grand, but I transferred that $50 directly toward my credit card balance on Tuesday. So the new official debt number is $14,300. We are moving in the right direction. But that $50 win was almost completely derailed by my empty stomach tonight. My grocery envelope for the week had $75 in cash. That is my hard limit. If I go over that, I have to pull from my debt payoff money, and I promised myself I wouldn't do that. So I'm walking through the store, and my cart is slowly filling up with the boring, sensible stuff. The $3 bags of rice, the $2.50 frozen veggies, a generic $4 pack of chicken thighs. But then I hit the danger zone. I had this $6 bag of name-brand salt and vinegar chips in my hand, and an $8 pre-cut fruit bowl. That's $14 right there. Add that to the $63 I already had in the cart, and suddenly I'm looking at $77. I was literally standing by the checkout lane, doing the panicked mental math, realizing I was about to bust my budget by $2. $2 doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's the habit, right? If I let the $2 slide, next week it's $10, and then I'm back to where I started. If you are also trying to figure this out, stumbling through the grocery aisles and trying to rewire your brain, please hit subscribe and document your own messy journey alongside mine. We need all the support we can get because doing this alone is exhausting. Anyway, I stood there looking at the chips. I was so hungry my hands were actually shaking a little bit. I had to have a deeply uncomfortable conversation with myself right there next to the gossip magazines. I realized the chips weren't going to fix my debt, and they weren't going to make the stress go away. They were just a quick dopamine hit because I forgot to pack a sandwich for lunch. So I did the walk of shame. I walked backward down the aisle and put the $8 fruit bowl back. I put the $6 chips back. I felt completely ridiculous doing it. But to reward myself for not totally caving, I grabbed a 99-cent generic granola bar by the register and ate it in the parking lot before I even turned the car on. Let's look at the final tally on this receipt. Total spent $67.50. I walked out of there with $7.50 still in my pocket. I actually beat my $75 budget. I kept my $50 debt payment secure. But honestly, it didn't feel like a massive victory in the moment. It felt like a really stressful chore. I am looking at the $7.50 in change sitting in my cup holder, and it represents so much more than just a few bills and coins. It represents the fact that I didn't give up on my system, even when my brain was begging me to just swipe the card and deal with the consequences later. It was messy, it was stressful, but the math doesn't lie. The debt is down $50 and I survived the grocery store, so sitting here now in the parking lot, finishing up that 99-cent granola bar, I am trying to figure out the actual 1% lesson from this whole chaotic trip. The entire idea behind this channel is that we don't need massive, painful lifestyle overhauls. We just need tiny, sustainable habits. Relying on sheer willpower in aisle 4 when my stomach is completely empty isn't a smart strategy. It's a trap I set for myself. When we almost break our budgets, it is so incredibly easy to spiral into guilt. We immediately think we are just inherently bad with money and want to give up. But the truth is, my messy, imperfect progress this week still resulted in a $50 win against my $14,350 debt mountain. The math worked out, even if the emotions were completely all over the place. I want to protect that progress without feeling like I'm going to war every single time I need to buy milk and eggs. My tiny system tweak for next time has nothing to do with complex spreadsheets or cutting up credit cards. It's purely behavioral. I am making a personal rule that I simply cannot walk through those sliding supermarket doors if I haven't eaten something first. I am going to take $2 out of that $7.50 in leftover grocery cash and buy a cheap emergency box of snacks. I'm keeping them right here in the center console of my car from now on. That is my 1% defense mechanism against impulse buys. It's not about being a perfect person with flawless self-control. It's just about making my environment a little safer for my budget. My mission for tomorrow is to take $2 and buy that emergency car snack. That's it. Just 1% today. What's your micro step? Will you move $1 to savings or skip one $4 coffee? Let's share our small wins in the comments. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.